Hello students. Today I am here presenting before you first chapter of geography in 10th class book, Resource and Development. So let's start with the chapter. What is resource? Resource is everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. So here in this definition, we see there are certain conditions for that everything to become a resource. First thing is, it has to satisfy our needs. And then it should be technologically accessible, means we should have some existing technologies to access that resource, to access that everything. Then it should be economically feasible. The resource should give us the value that we are investing on it. And then it should be culturally acceptable. Our culture should accept that yes, this thing can be used. Then it will become a resource. Now next is the types of resources. The resources are of two types. First are the natural resources and second are man-made resources. So all the free gifts of nature are called natural resources, like air, water that we are getting from the nature directly are called natural resources. Then man-made resources are the resources that have been developed by human beings after interacting with the nature. Man goes to the nature, brings something and convert that to something else. That becomes man-made resource, like buildings, vehicles. There are numerous things that we see around us. All those are the examples of man-made resources. Now next is the classification of resources. In classification, we have some bases. First one is on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin, we have two types of resources. First are biotic and second are abiotic. Biotic means the resources that originate from living organism. The resources that are alive or were alive at some point of time are called biotic resources. Abiotic means the resources that originate from non-living things, right? In biotic, the example we can give plants, animals, humans, right? Then in abiotic, all the metals that we extract from the crust of the earth are called abiotic resources. Second is on the basis of exhaustibility. Exhaustibility means whether they will finish or not. If they will finish, they are called non-renewable resources. And if they will not finish, they are called renewable resources. Right? The resources that finish after using once are called non-renewable resources, and the resources that do not finish after using once and can be renewed are called renewable resources. Next is on the basis of ownership, means how many types of owners resources have. So resources have four types of owners. First are the individual. Individual means the resources that are owned and managed by private individuals are called individual resources. For example, your house, the land belonging to you or your family is your individual resource. Your car, that is your individual resource. Then comes community resource. The resources that are jointly owned and managed by the members of a community, like playground. Nobody owns that. That playground belongs to all of you or all of us, right? After that, school belongs to the community, right? Such resources are called community resources that are owned and managed jointly by the members of a community. Then comes national resources. Technically, if we see, all the resources present within the boundaries of a nation are national resources, whether they belong to some individual or they belong to the community or they are managed or owned by country's government. First of all, they are national resources. Then they are individual or they are community resources. And last is international resources. The resources that do not fall within the boundaries of any nation are called international resources. Such resources are owned and managed by international organizations. In international resources, we give the example of the open ocean. Ocean after 200 nautical miles from the boundaries of a nation is an open ocean and is an international resource. Last one is on the basis of status of development. How do we classify the resources on the basis of status of development? We have 4 categories over here. First is the potential. Potential is the total amount of resource present in a nation is called potential. For example, we give example that India has potential of 45,000 megawatt wind power. We can produce 45,000 megawatt wind energy every year. But that is our potential. Potential means we can, we are not. Right? Whatever we are doing, that is developed. Whatever we are producing, whatever we are using, that is the part of developed, that is second category. Developed means the resources that are being used are called developed. Then comes the stock. Stock is what? It is a difference of potential and developed. Potential is what do we have. Developed is what are we using. And whatever is left that we are not using but we have is called stock. And out of stock, something we have kept apart for the needs of the future generations, that is reserved. Right? Reserve is what? That part of the stock which is kept apart to meet the future requirements is called reserve. Right? Now, next topic is resource planning. Resource planning is a complex process. Resource development requires resource planning. Because without planning, there will be misuse, there will be overuse, or there will be underuse. There will always be a problem without planning. So resource planning is a complex process. It involves 3 steps. Planning is done in 3 steps. First step is identification and inventory of resources across the regions of the country. We invent, we identify. This involves surveying, mapping, and quantitative and qualitative estimation and measurement of the resources. We survey throughout the nation, we draw map, we make table, we make lists, we assess the quality, we estimate the quantity, how much it is, where it is, what sort of it is, and then our first step finishes. Then comes the second step. In second step, what do? Evolve a planning structure endowed with appropriate technology. We make a planning structure in which we see what technology is required for resource development, what skills are required for resource development, and what all institutions we need to set up or we do have for the development of that particular resource. Right? And then comes the third step, matching resource development plan with overall national development plans. There should be some coordination between resource development and national development. Both should go hand in hand. So that's it for today. In next video, I'll bring the rest of the chapter for you. By that time, thank you very much. See you soon with the remaining part of the chapter.